Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into something really cool, a philosophy that finds incredible beauty in things that are, a little cracked, a little weathered, a little worn. It's an idea that pretty much flips everything we think we know about perfection on its head, especially when it comes to fashion. So why is flawed fashion even considered beautiful? I mean, it's a pretty good question, right? You've seen it everywhere, from the runways to those super chic boutiques, clothes with raw, frayed edges, cuts that are deliberately off balance, and fabrics that look like they've been loved for years. So how in the world did these so-called flaws become the height of style? Well, to get to the bottom of that, we actually have to look at this amazing Japanese philosophy. It's a whole worldview that doesn't just put up with flaws, it actually celebrates them. It sees them as where the real beauty is. And that philosophy is called Wabi-Sabi. At its core, it's really a way of seeing the world. It's all about appreciating the simple, kind of rustic beauty in things, and the story that's told by their little nicks, scratches, and signs of wear. So it's not just a look or a style, it's a whole mindset that puts authenticity way above being flawless. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to go back, way back to where it all started. And you might be surprised to hear that the story of this massive global fashion trend doesn't begin on a runway in Paris. Nope, it starts with a simple little teacup. So picture this. It's 15th century Japan. The elite, they were all about these perfect, super symmetrical, and ornately decorated porcelain teacups from China. But wabi-sabi? It was like this quiet rebellion against all that glamour. Tea masters started choosing simple, kind of rough, even slightly wonky teacups made by local potters instead. Why? Because they saw way more beauty and character in those humble, imperfect pieces. And that simple preference, which was deeply tied to Zen Buddhist ideas, basically laid the groundwork for this entire aesthetic. So let's break down the term itself, because wabi and sabi are actually two separate ideas that come together. Think of wabi as the inner spirit of something. It's that feeling of quiet richness you get from simplicity, a kind of rustic elegance. Then you have sabi. That's the beauty that comes with age. It's the visible story of time passing. The faded color, the worn edges. It's the history of an object that you can actually see and touch. All right, so how do we get from a 15th century philosophy about teacups to the clothes we're seeing on runways right now? Let's dig into how these abstract ideas actually come together to create a whole fashion aesthetic. It's really all about creating this effortless vibe that's full of texture and character. You see asymmetrical cuts that totally reject perfect symmetry. Those raw, unfinished edges, they're a celebration of how the garment was made. And then there's the patched boro style, which started as just a mending technique but has become a total art form. And the fabrics, unironed linens, organic cottons, hand-woven wools, they're chosen because they almost feel alive. They breathe, they change, and they just get more character every single time you wear them. It's literally about clothes having a tangible soul. And the color palette? It's pulled straight from nature. These are what I'd call quiet colors. You're not going to find any loud, bright neons here. No way. Instead, it's all about those matte, faded tones of stone, earth, rust, and moss. The colors themselves look like they've been softened by time, which just drives home that feeling of sabi, that beauty of aging gracefully. Okay, this is a big one, because a lot of people mix up wabi-sabi with minimalism. And I get it. They both value simplicity, but there's a huge difference. Minimalism is all about seeking perfection by stripping things down. It wants smooth surfaces, super clean lines, almost a sterile kind of flawlessness. Wabi-sabi, though, it finds beauty in the complete opposite. It's all about that lived-in texture, the signs of wear and tear, the rich story that an object tells. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Modernism worships the new. Wabi-sabi finds beauty in things that fade, crack, and age. It is a rebellion against perfectionism. In a world that is completely obsessed with the latest drop, the newest trend, wabi-sabi is this incredible counterstatement. It's a philosophy that says, hey, the things you already have, they get more beautiful, not less, as they go through life with you. It really is a rebellion against our disposable culture. But wabi-sabi in fashion goes way beyond just the clothes. It's a whole worldview that shapes everything about the presentation. We're talking from who they choose as models all the way to the style of the photography. And the people we really have to thank for bringing this radical idea to the rest of the world, a small group of visionary Japanese designers who just completely shook up the fashion industry. So, back in the 1980s, Yoji Yamamoto and Rei Kawakubo of Comme des Garçons showed up in Paris and basically turned the fashion world upside down. Their collections were dark, they were oversized, they were asymmetrical, they had seams on the outside and raw edges everywhere. This deconstructivist style was a massive challenge to the polished, perfectly tailored look that dominated Western fashion. Them, along with Issey Miyake and his mind-blowing work with fabric, they introduced a completely new way to think about what beautiful even means. And you see this philosophy in the entire visual language too. The models are picked for their unique character, for having strong features, not for fitting into some cookie-cutter idea of perfection. The styling is supernatural. Think no makeup, and unstyled hair. The poses are more thoughtful, kind of melancholic, not aggressive. And the photography? It's all about natural light, deep shadows, and these amazing close-up shots that highlight the texture of the fabric, so you can almost feel it just by looking at the picture. Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory and on the high fashion runway, right? But how do we actually bring this way of thinking into our own lives and into our own closets?
It really just starts with a simple shift in how you look at things. First off, accept that wear and tear is okay. A faded spot or a little snag isn't a defect, it's a memory. Second, when something does get a hole or a tear, try mending it with intention. Look up techniques like Japanese sashiko stitching. It doesn't just patch the hole, it makes the repair a beautiful, visible part of the clothing's history. And finally, try to choose things made from natural, comfy fibers that are going to age well and really become yours over time.
At the end of the day, the message here is all about authenticity. Wabi-Sabi encourages us to just be okay with who we are, flaws and everything, and to let that shine through in what we wear. It's about dropping that constant pressure to be perfect and instead just embracing our own unique, imperfect, and beautiful reality. And that really is the powerful question Wabi-Sabi leaves us with. In a world that is constantly chasing perfection, could our flaws actually be our greatest assets? In a culture that sells us flawlessness 24/7, maybe the most radical and most beautiful thing we can do is to find value in our own imperfections. Thanks for tuning in.